Good morning, comrades. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the Nürburgring. Welcome to an interesting video because we'll be talking about the parts of the track that we would like to see changed. And as we're passing this massive queue here, I think the majority of people are going to say
this right here.
Yeah, we'd like to see have something done to the exit and entrance, and we will show to you more about it towards the end of the lap. But the reason why we're putting out this video is because today, actually, when we're shooting this video, is the last day of public sessions, and the track is going to be closed for winter works. Usually they either close it because it makes no sense, because it will be covered in snow, but most importantly because always a part of the track will get small or big resurfacing. The profile of the track always stays the same. They're not going to change the left-hand corner to a right-hand corner or the inclination unless there's a safety concern like it was in 2015 with Flugplatz where they took out the jump. But overall, it's just minor things to make it actually better, as the recent examples have seen. The jump in Schwedenkreuz made it safer, faster, and made it even still faster, so you don't have to worry about it. This main straight during track days, it's such a dream to drive now because the car is not jumping everywhere.
Oh, man, you used to get this tracking and the car would just go left and right and left and right, and it was frustrating. It was
yeah, and also for and then they changed this jump out there on top of the hill after the compression, which made the cars, of course, again at the same time a lot faster. So then you can have the ongoing discussion of like, oh yeah, well, what about the previous lap records then? Because if you put a Porsche 918 out there with today's tire technology and today's track, it's going to be 15 seconds a lot faster. Maybe, maybe not. Doesn't matter. What matters is for today's video, we will be giving you some perspective from our cases, what we would like to see changed. And as we're rolling onto the track, I mean, again, this part was resurfaced last year. There is not much to be said about that. In the meanwhile, of course, feel free to say in the comments something what you would like to see changed if you had the opportunity, if you would be like the manager of the Nürburgring to decide what will get changed. Now, from what I heard for this year is that there will be an extension of the digitalization project of the Nürburgring. This means already last year they installed a couple of cameras. You can see one here, for example, on the right, which are autonomous. They actually have the detection when the car is going off the track or it's smoking, for example, when there's some certain anomalies that are getting detected. And they want to put it around the whole track eventually, but it takes lots of time, effort, money, resources, because it's a 20.832 kilometer track, so a lot needs to be redone. Now, as we're approaching here, again, this part was still redone last year, so there's actually not much to comment on. But after this, here you're gonna end up already in the old tarmac. Actually, this part was also redone,
and this is
recently.
nice because this area here, one of the big things that'll happen, like, you know, I never felt that T13 or Sabine Curva was a huge issue.
Yeah.
But what you did have was traction issues.
Yes.
The new tarmac has a lot more grip.
What I don't like here, what I want to see resurface here on the left is a jump.
Yes, right here, there's a bump right here.
Yeah, when you go, especially with very fast car, it can unsettle you a lot. So I would like to get rid of that bump there. That would be nice. Oh, lots of understeer towards the wall, very close.
What, with you talking about that, and this is something that's interesting for me, I love those things.
True.
And I think that that's part of what makes the Nürburgring the Nürburgring. When you close your eyes and you think of the track and you're going through Hatzenbach, you know that right there you've got this little bump, and you have to, if you're in a fast car, you've got to be settled, and you've got to have, you know, everything in a position straightened up, and if you're on the throttle, you've got to make sure your wheel's straight, you know. And some of those things are what make this track, you know.
Yeah.
And when right up here,
here is also another bump.
Yeah, absolutely.
That actually really unsettles you.
When you would go up to Schwedenkreuz before, you might remember that I was really like, man, I'm not really feeling them getting rid of this bump, you know?
Yeah.
I'm not happy about this. I'm not excited about this, you know? Now that it's done, you do it, you're fine with it. You know, it's okay. So some of these things you hang too much on, but see, they made this turn safer by getting rid of the bump, right?
Yeah.
But so for me, it's like, you're gonna ask me, what do you want to change? I'm like, nothing. I want it just like it is. I want it just like it was. But then they're gonna fix it and change these things, and I'm gonna say, okay, I want it to stay just like this, you know.
Mhm.
It's because the Nürburgring, as long as I've been driving it, has always been changing. And whereas it's sad to see certain things go, it's also fun to relearn things.
Oh yeah,
You know,
for sure.
Like down here, I mean, your braking zone is completely changed. You remember when you had to brake on the right in the wet?
Yes.
It doesn't matter where you brake now. You know, you got such good traction in this new pavement, the water almost seeps through it.
Mhm.
And this new asphalt, you can brake in different places, and every year that's going to change as more rubber's built up and things like that. So
Mhm.
it's very interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess the yellow was for the.
The
Ah,
rocks,
yeah.
Someone
Someone.
found a little bit of gravel.
Yep. All right. Well, as we go downhill into Foxhole, it's also a very bumpy section.
Yes, it is.
That especially
right here
on the left.
Yep, exactly.
There's a big jump, which in the wet will really, especially
Send
with
you for a
rear-wheel drive
ride.
car, is gonna send you away. It's exciting, interesting. I don't have an issue with that. I don't understand why
This
this
right
patch here
Yeah,
was
this is-
done
that's-
last year, and that's
yep.
really annoying.
It could have been smoother.
Yes. So that could be one of them. Here, nothing to complain, to be honest. Everything is fine from my side. The grip is very good, except
Yep.
for.
I love this turn right here.
Yes.
This is so much grip in this turn, way more than you think you should have.
Yeah. Well, here they can make a shortcut straight, maybe. For some people.
I think people do that on their own.
True. Now, as we approach Metzgesveld, approaching towards the braking zone, there's also another like off-camber bump that I don't really like. So, for example, from
Right
here,
in here.
yeah.
Yep, exactly.
So this one, it goes
kicks you
here
over,
and then goes here,
and then it tips us over. Yes.
and the other side.
And if you're in a fast car, that does unsettle you. If you're in a Porsche, in
Yeah.
a GT2, for example, the back end will get loose in those areas sometimes, so that can get a little bit frustrating. But
Indeed.
again, something you learn about as you're driving, right?
Of course, but it's just I'm thinking what could be better. Of course, there as a driver, you as a knowledgeable driver from the Nürburgring, you get your advantage
Yes.
of knowing these things, and that separates the
But then
fast guys from the slow guys.
There's also this situation where cars are getting faster and faster, right?
True.
And the faster something gets as it hits those turns, the more dangerous it gets.
Yeah.
The more unsettling it is.
Mhm.
We just watched a car do a 635, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we could wonder how much faster should that car really have been,
Mm-hmm.
right? And you have to also wonder how many of those areas where it's not as fast are because the track's not as smooth as it could be.
Yeah.
We don't want to give too much credit to that because if we want to set times on the Nürburgring, we gotta run the Nürburgring, right?
Exactly.
But there's going to be a point where cars can't drive faster because they're limited in certain areas.
Mhm.
You know, you have things like the GT2 that it is on the absolute ragged edge to get the times that it did.
Yeah.
Right, and it's tackling those areas in just an insane manner. And then you get cars like the AMG one that wasn't on the ragged edge to get its time. And it's no doubt, like even right here, these bumps, you know,
Mhm.
those bumps unsettle the car. If you've got a rear-wheel drive car and you're braking and you hit that bump, the back end could come out.
Mm-hmm.
I suspect that that's an area that they might want to smooth out back there.
Maybe.
You know, eventually they might want to clean that transition up.
But that they changed also in 2017. That's a transition that is not too smooth.
They did fix it, but then when they connected the two, they didn't really.
Yeah.
It's not really. Would you say that good? You know what I mean? Go ahead. You want to
I
talk about
really
this?
don't like this
Yes.
one. Yeah, because the braking zone is very bumpy, so it unsettles
Yep.
this part. So if they can change the braking into Bergwerk, and it would benefit a lot. I know I love this turn in the wet because it gives a tremendous advantage when you know
Yes.
where the grip levels are. But when I'm thinking also from a beginning perspective for DF drivers, maybe it's like a bit too slippery because it's one of the slippiest sections of the track. Also here it's funny, on the left they changed this section this year.
Right.
So now in the wet, you just take this inside.
Exactly.
Because it's grippier than the old
It's
tarmac
grippier
on
than
the
the old
outside.
Exactly. So you can actually run faster on the inside.
Yeah.
And these are all things that we're talking about that change over the years. And some of the stuff we don't want to get confused that some of these bumps are because the tarmac's been here for so long that it's actually moved.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
there are lots of trees, a root is growing underneath and it pushes the tarmac out.
And so these are things that we're like, oh, but that bump's been there. Yeah, but it maybe wasn't there at one time, you know?
Yeah, it wasn't there 70 years ago.
It's a living surface, if you would, you know?
Yeah. There's another bump approaching the braking
Yep.
mud curve. That's also like meh. The rest here is kinda okay. I love this section.
Yeah, this little hump right here is nice. This is very smooth. You can take this so much faster than you think.
Yeah.
This right here.
Then there's the famous bump here.
The famous bump, yes. Don't brake on it.
No. Brake before.
Brake before.
And then, actually, here's also a bump, but I have no problems with that. It's quite fun.
High-powered car, you just need to
Jump.
get a little bit of lift on the throttle if you don't want to, you know, break traction loose. But other than that, no big deal. These bumps, I don't even know what to say here.
The funny thing is, when it was built in 1927, it wasn't like that until somewhere 30s, and they changed it like that. No one knows why or how, and they just kept on doing it. So that's all there is to it. But who knows?
This is all nice and smooth right here.
Yeah.
No complaints, nothing to say. You know, and see, you might have noticed back there, right as we come into the left-hander and load up the suspension, you do get a bump, but those are just tarmac changes. Those are things that you can't really change. Watch right here. There's a bump right as you're coming up. See that right there?
Yeah, and then you need to.
And that's always been there.
Yeah.
You know, and should they smooth that out? Heck, I don't know.
No, because
you know?
this area was also the surface in 2018.
This is what I'm saying. You know, should they go back and change that? No. That's just part of the track.
Yeah. Vipperman challenge should stay as it is as well.
Yeah, we can't get rid of that.
No, definitely not. Yellows.
Well, that was a Whipperman challenge gone wrong.
No, was something gone wrong before.
Well, maybe the back one back there.
Yeah.
The lead up to it.
Yeah. Oh, there's another yellow here, so. For some reason, the corner that I hate the most is Eschbach.
Really?
I don't know why. Just like breaking into it. Like, I'm always in the wet, especially because you need to really go close to the wall.
You need to get outside, yeah.
Yeah, but dry is kind of fine, but it's something it feels for me always off. Brunchen, all nice, especially since they got rid of the bump.
Yes, I got it.
69. Also here, all nice. There's a very nice bump here that lets you get the three-wheel picture. Jump and Flanskarden should definitely remain. Oh, I have a photographer there. Yes! Whee!
Seatbelts.
This bump here, I also not completely fan of.
Are they going to release Misha?
No, they're not.
Oh, it got tighter. We'll let him by.
Yeah. The bump here, Bellafest.
Yeah, I like it. I don't got any problem with it.
Me neither.
Yeah. I think it should be a keeper.
As long as you don't lift, it's all fine.
Yeah, I think that's the key.
Then here also all good. Let's see.
I love this turn too.
Yeah.
And then the transition right in here into the Straubenschwanz, it's cool.
Yeah.
No problem here.
Also all good. Nothing.
This is all relatively new.
Yeah. And it's all actually from here on. It's almost
all perfect.
Yeah. I have nothing to complain or wish for. There's of course a bump on the out of exit Gauenkopf, but it doesn't unsettle the car actually.
No, it doesn't. It's actually, I like it. Again, here I am talking about the things I like. That dip right there kind of settles the car if you're going fast. It'll actually shove the car down. So that's not really too bad. When you come out of here, nothing really to speak of. If you catch over there, there's a little bit more bump, but
yeah. But that's about it.
I think the key thing is that since the Nürburgring was acquired by somebody else, right?
Yeah.
I think that there's been so much work done to it that from, let's say, 2017, it's night and day difference.
Yes.
And if you could drive it back to back, it would be actually quite fun.
Yeah.
You know, to go and actually do a lap like it was before and drive it now. But a lot of the things that we have in our mind are gone, or things we might have remembered are gone. There's very few things like that you pointed out, the things that you don't like that just maybe unsettle a car in a braking zone, or, you know, going into Metzgesfeld, a little bit of, you know, side to side action, a little bit of yaw if you would, or no, pitch if you would. No pitch, yaw, yeah. And those things right there will just make the track a little bit faster, a little bit quicker, a little bit more stable in certain types of cars.
This is amazing.
That's pretty cool, isn't it?
Yeah, for everyone's asking how fast does my car need to be to drive the Nürburgring, here.
Not even.
I mean, again, track was built in 1927. Back then, they did not have fast cars.
Yep.
Of course, the 600 horsepower silver arrows with the tire technology of a bicycle. But like this, you can have fun with that. And a GT3 next to it. This is actually a perfect picture.
Yeah, it's awesome, isn't it?
Yeah. But as we started this video here on the straight, a lot of people want to have something changed here. Because the problem is with queuing off, and right now we have a small traffic jam, but it's not too bad in comparison to
it gets
busy
much
days.
worse. You'll get down to the gantry 4 or 5 cars wide,
and you end up literally, I think the longest I've been waiting to get off the track was close to an hour. It was 50 minutes that at some point I spent here, and it's not fun. It's not fun driving, and it's also not good for your car, because you want to cool down the brakes and everything. And of course you can say, okay, then don't drive as fast and take out the speed the like 5 corners before, which you end up doing, of course, as a driver who respects his car. But sometimes you don't know that the traffic jam is there,
right?
And then you don't, like, you come out of here like, okay, great, and now what? You overcook your brakes, you might overcook your car. Very often have seen cars here actually literally boiling at the end of the lap, because all of a sudden,
yeah, they end up parked on the side, smoke coming out.
Yeah, the fire department come, they close the track because the fire department needs to come rescue them.
Ain't got no time for this.
Nice, I love that.
That's awesome.
So yeah, the big question was like, what can you do with car park? Can you do an exit here onto the main road without having to go through the car park?
It's complicated.
It's complicated. Maybe, probably the big thing that we need to remember, I hate to say this, but we're in Germany. And they might say rules are the rules, and no, sorry, we cannot just easily do this. And by the time you get permission from the government, another permission is going to overrule this. And it might get very hard, because you're actually, yeah.
What the real only solution that I could see would be a lot more parking.
Yeah.
You know, if they could just go up and take, you know, a large piece of land up this direction.
The problem here is that a lot of the land next to it is actually owned by private people.
They would have to try and acquire it,
and nobody wants to sell.
It's difficult.
Yeah.
You know, and that's really the issue. And so what happens is, the biggest issue with my theory here is that it works in the sense, if you can get that land. I mean, they got this whole car park over here.
Yeah.
If they can have a bigger exit that leads over to that car park over there, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
But the problem is that here at the Nürburgring, you get a lot of people that just pull up, pop the hood, open the doors, and turn it into a little car show.
Yeah.
And you'll have people that'll sit in the car park for hours and hours and hours and not actually drive. And those people are actually occupying spaces that all of these people could take to do their tire pressures, or to, you know, do whatever it is that they want to do, use the restroom, etc., and to get these people off the track faster.
Yeah.
You could get rid of this whole parking lot right here and make it a 3-lane exit.
Yeah.
That flows directly across the street, right? It could flow directly across the street into that big parking area, and only allow that parking area access if you have a lap ticket, for example, right?
Yeah.
There's things that they could do like that, but it would change the atmosphere. It would change the, you know, it would change the general feel of the situation.
Yeah.
Something has to happen though. This is too much.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
And at this point, the what's it called? The general driver's etiquette here is there is no rule for specifically how you do what to do, but you form one queue, but once it gets too long, you form a second one so people can, or the third or a fourth one, so people can, while coming off their track, they can cool down the brakes still. And actually, the what's it called, this zipper in German, Reißverschluss, it works very well, as you can see, as long as everyone is
polite. As long as everyone plays along and does it right, a zipper is the fastest way to get through
exactly
a clog. But see, right now we've gone down from 2 to 3 lanes back there. They're starting a 3rd lane back there now, it looks like, to 1.
Yeah.
And this 1 lane is trying to find spots in a parking lot that's already full. So then those people are driving through a parking lot, then they're hitting a roundabout that also has the town's traffic going up and down. All of those things don't work.
Yeah.
Right? It just doesn't work. And for the size of the operation that TF is, the size of the business, the company that the Nürburgring is, there needs to be a larger exit getting off the track, and I really think it almost needs to be a 3-lane, like I said, that dumps into, heck, it could be the car park here actually goes up a bridge and you have a 3-lane road that goes over the bridge to the other side, you know?
Yeah.
And then they can use all of that land that they have out there to pave a really big parking area that would be people's first position that they can go park after getting off the track. And something like that might help.
Yeah.
You know, but right now what we have here, there's days that I don't want to go on the track.
Yeah.
Because, you know, our building is just 800 meters up the road, but it can take an hour or an hour and a half to do one lap.
Yeah.
And that takes some of the, you know, fun out of it.
Excitement and fun away.
Yeah.
No, this entrance was built, I believe, in 1999, and that was when they realized that the previous entrance, T13, where they now do the prototype testing and of course the lap record attempts, and RCN paddock is there, so those who know, they know. It's always significantly smaller part there, and back then it was already becoming too small for what it was. So they built this here in 99. And then after we had the explosion of the popularity thanks to the Top Gear episode with Sabine, and by now 20 years later, our generation of the 90s and 80s kids who grew up playing back then in the 90s, Gran Turismo or whatever it was for you, the thing that inspired you to be a car guy, and love the Nürburgring, they are now all coming here. And with the popularity of social media and globalization and everything, it's really
There's still only one Nürburgring.
Exactly. So this is now simply too small for what it is today, and it needs changing. But for the rest, it's a lot of it's ongoing process. So let's see if and how they will tackle it. But that's the major complaint from all the locals as of now, that this needs to change.
Yeah, I think that they've got the track to the point that it's pretty safe right now.
Yeah,
it's in overall really good condition. I'm sure they're going to update things this winter. I'm sure you'll get some insight to that as to where things are at. This right here, as you can see, I mean, this is the middle of November.
Yeah.
Right. This is the middle of November. The last day of the season doesn't generally bring a huge amount of traffic, and this actually isn't a huge amount of traffic right here, what we're seeing. And you just can see right there how clogged up this is, people trying to find spots and get around, and it's overwhelmed. I mean, I'll just go up here, assuming that the gate is open and everything. You've got the ticket office right here, which is in containers, and this whole parking area is full right here. Then you come down here, and you've got another parking area, which honestly, there's many times that this is completely full as well.
Yeah.
This is a lot of spectators and different things, but nobody wants to bring their track car over here because it's gravel, right?
Yeah.
It's all gravel. You know, as I look up here to the left, there's open spots, and there is availability, and this goes all the way down in here to the left. And it's obviously not a very good parking area, right? It's very rough, it's very gravelly, it's not somewhere that you want to sit at, but there's so much wasted space in this parking area that maybe they could somehow incorporate this.
Yeah,
you know?
Who knows? Well, that's our take on the improvements on the track, which are actually, we would like to see things improve off the track more than on the track itself.
I think that's where they're at. I think where they're at right now is needing to focus on off track.
Yeah.
So that the on-track experience can be better.
And I do also have to say, from my experience, that hopefully that this digitalization that they're investing in, that will take off and help solve lots of safety issues. But it's a long discussion that we can have about that will eventually separate, or the question, so to say, the status of a public road to a racetrack. And that's the main reason why, if you want to be fast and safe, then go drive track days or drive races. If you want to have fun on the ring, just to have fun, then go do public session. But don't really complain that there was not enough marshals because you were coming with 300 over Schwedenkreuz and there was someone slower traffic or something.
And maybe that's not the place for it.
Yeah, no one was waving a white flag for slower traffic, which no one is doing anyway in the first place. In any case, hopefully you made it till the end of this video, and in that case, thank you for watching.
If they did, I think they're tier 1.
They are tier 1,
yeah.
Absolutely. Maybe we should start doing giveaways on the channel. We could. We haven't had one in a very long time. We'll see what we can do.
Come up with something, I'm sure.
Yeah, definitely. Well, thanks for watching. Let us know what you would like to see changed and what your opinion is. And see you tomorrow's video, and definitely also next year on the track. Bye.
Bye, guys.